Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to bring you a video on the secret collection companies do not want you to know. This is why you do not pay collections. So if you're new to my channel is dedicated to help you no matter where you are in your credit journey, and also teaching you how to leverage credit lines to create passive income. Now, I do have a webinar coming up September 18th this month. So if you're interested in signing up for that webinar, the link will be in the description of this video. That webinar is going to teach you how to improve your credit and get more credit card approvals. As always, you guys, it's scammers in the comments that will use my picture and also try to have you to contact them via WhatsApp, an email address. That is not me. Please click on the photo to make sure that the subscribers match the subscribers on this channel. If it does not, report that person for spam, okay? It's some scammers, it's some frauders. So let's jump into the information. Now, I want you all guys, all of you guys to take this experiment that I'm about to give you. When a collection company call you next time, they're going to call you. They'll say, for instance, can I speak to Sherry Beckley? And you or I'll reply, you want to be very careful. Can I ask who's calling? And they'll say, it's ABC Collection Company. I want you to immediately say this. I will be glad to talk to you, but I don't want to speak to you on a recorded line. They will immediately say, I will have to disconnect this call and hang up. The reason why they do that is a secret that they don't want you to know. Here's the secret. The reason why they must record your phone call, because there is a term in law called the law of contracts. Collection companies buy these debts in portfolios. This is why some of their names have portfolio in it. They buy these debts as an asset, and they buy it in a huge portfolio. I have explained in prior videos, when it comes down to debts, especially like credit card debts, one thing that you must understand, there has to be a contract bound. And what happens when you have a credit card, generally people apply for it online, get that card in the mail. It comes with the terms and conditions of the card and a contract that you're supposed to sign to send back that you agree to the terms and conditions. What happens? The majority of people do not send that contract back. They begin to use the card. Now, here's the catch-22. With that credit card, you're paying interest, you're making payments directly to the original creditor. If you owe a $2,000 debt, default on that debt, what happens? That original creditor try to collect. When they can't collect, many times they write it off. That's why it says write off, charge off, and they get a tax credit. So the IRS give them that $2,000 tax credit because they could not collect from you. So in turn, they don't want to get in trouble with the IRS for double dipping. So they write that off, and then they also sell the debt, because if they collect the $2,000 from you, take the $2,000 write-off, that's $4,000 that they made. So instead of getting in trouble with the IRS, they sell the debt to a collection company for pennies on the dollars. Not only your debt, but my debt. Now, you, with that credit card, what they'll say, you agreed to the terms for the use of the card with the original creditor. But one thing you didn't agree to was for that original creditor to sell that debt. You didn't sign giving them permission to sell it to a third party. So when it comes down to a law of contract, there has to be a contract enforced in place. And there's written contracts like if you get into a cab and they drop you off, you use that service, or go to the restaurant, you use the service, so you owe for the service that you used. But because you went to McDonald's and purchased or ate a hamburger and didn't pay for it, they cannot then say, oh, well, you got to pay Burger King because I sold that debt to Burger King. You don't owe Burger King. I didn't get a burger from Burger King. I got it from McDonald's. So if anybody I owe or I need to pay is McDonald's. This is what they do with these collection companies. They don't have legal right to collect on the debt. They have to present you with a signed contract between you and the original creditor where you agreed for that debt to be sold third party. This is why with cars, you'll notice they can change hands many times for financing on that car because you signed a contract. You may have, if you have a mortgage, you might see that mortgage change hands a couple of times because you signed a mortgage contract. But with a lot of these third-party debts, like medical debts, like I said, credit card debts, where is the contract? So collection companies understand that. They also understand there's something called the chain of title of them actually selling the debt. So you'll notice if you have a collection, it changes hands many of times. Most of the times when they buy these large portfolios, they're just getting a screenshot of a bill. This is why when you send them a debt validation letter, they'll try to send you back a bill. But a bill is not proof that they have a legal right to collect on the debt. If I have a light bill and you come and knock on my door and say, hey, Sherry, I got your light bill in my hand, pay me, I'm going to call the cops on you because I don't know you. And where do you have a legal right to come and collect on my light bill? You never gave me a service. They understand that too. Collection companies, that company that is calling you never gave you a hamburger, a Uber ride, and they need to present proof that they have a legal right to collect on that debt. Where did you agree for that debt to be sold? They know that. So here's how they're sneaky. This is the secret. So what they do is come in and call you and then tell you, hey, you know, you owe us owed so-and-so credit card company this money and now we own it and don't you owe them? So we're the collection company and you need to pay us. And what you begin to do, oh yeah, I did. I'll pay you. Boom. Now they got you. Because the reason they need to record that call, because they are going to get you to go into a verbal contract. That's why when you tell them, I don't want my phone conversation to be recorded, they're going to hang up because they understand they need to really prey on your ignorance in that situation. That's why they want to record that call, because soon as you tell them, I will pay you this, you have now formed a verbal contract. This is why you can have vows to be married and verbally say, I will honor, hold, and it's going to take you a whole legal procedure to get out of that marriage contract because you have formed a verbal contract. That's why you should never really talk to them on the phone, and you should never, ever, ever, ever agree to pay them. collection companies are known to practice debt parking. They know there are people, even with great credit, they know you don't owe anything. This almost happened to my father. He's still with Allstate, an insurance company, and this collection company sent him a letter in the mail saying you owe them. We called Allstate, and they said no, he doesn't owe us anything. He's actually still a client, been so for a good close to 20 years. He doesn't owe a bill. But that collection company, purposely, they will steal your information and purposely send it to you, and you pay that. You agree to pay it. Boom. They keep it on your credit report for the next 7 years. And they have a legal right to do it because you agreed to do business by paying them. This is why you should always send a debt validation letter to them to make them prove they have a legal right to collect on a debt. You need to always send that debt validation letter certified U.S. Postal Mail. You need to make sure you have a track record, because if they send you that letter within that 30-day window, and you demand for verification of that debt, they cannot put that on your credit report if they cannot validate that debt. So it is very important that you always send that certified. Now, and if you need those letters, actually, we have them at our website. I'll put the link in the description. Now, also what you need to watch out for. Many of your debts, even if you have a collection and it's in that window of that 7 years and it can still be reported on your credit report, many of these debts are past the statute of limitation in your state to be able to be sued, depending on your state law and the types of debts that you have. If you're not careful and you bind that verbal agreement with that collection company, you can open yourself up for a lawsuit. You can reinstate the statute of limitations, and you can get your butt sued for not being in light of what I'm telling you. And this is why the Bible tells you in Amos, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Many of you guys have to learn this. This is why I keep telling you, credit is an algorithm. Credit repair. A lot of y'all keep going through that cycle. Oh, I want somebody to do it for me. But if you don't have the knowledge of the things I'm telling you, you're going to constantly be preyed upon. Remember, the collection companies and the credit bureaus are like this. All of them are in bed together. The credit bureaus make billions of dollars just for selling information. And collection companies and also creditors have a subscription with the credit bureaus in order to access that information, and for collection companies to have the power and the leverage to force you through credit terrorism to pay them, or they wouldn't be in business. They have to report a certain amount of names every month to the credit bureaus, because the credit bureaus need data, and the credit bureaus love negative information. They actually work with the collection companies that anytime you try to buy a home, anytime you see your credit go up, take notice, out the blue, here goes a collection popping up on your credit, because they buy trigger lists. Collection companies buy lists from the bureaus. This is how they make billions of dollars. And anytime you go to find a mortgage, they sell them a trigger list with your name on it. And this is why you see these collections come out the blue. Anytime your score go up, you'll start seeing now collections come out the blue, because it's a form of terrorism. They work together. They buy the list. Collection companies have leverage. And one thing the credit bureaus are not is your friends. because the credit bureaus make billions just for selling your information. And also understand, they love to sell negative information. Remember, when your credit is bad, you're going to pay a higher interest rate. And banks love that. This is why almost 90% of credit reports have inaccurate information. That pendulum never swings the other way. There's never a time they make a mistake and give you perfect credit, because they can sell your subprime credit at a higher rate than good credit reports, because the banks love it. Banks make money off of interest. So all of these guys work together. So you want to make sure that you do not just pay a collection company. You always send a debt validation letter. And just make sure, I just want to check my notes that I didn't miss anything. You want to send it certified mail. That's because if you need to pursue the collection company, and actually if you have to, this is not legal advice, this is for education purposes only. Like I told you guys, I have done in the past, I have sued collection companies for defamation of character. I sent out my debt validation letters. If they cannot show legal right to collect on a debt, that means once they send me back a bill, that doesn't show the original contract. And many times they don't have it. You got to make sure you're not validating your information on the phone or talking to them. Always tell them, I'll talk to you, not on a recorded line. They're going to hang up, and do not talk to them. Then you know for a fact that you didn't bind a verbal contract, and you have a legal right to sue for defamation of character. Remember, your credit is connected to your character. That's why I said credit worthiness. If you're being denied for an apartment, you're being denied for a job, you're getting paid, charged higher interest rates, then they're lying on you, because they're telling everybody on your credit report you owe a debt and you don't even know them. This is borderline illegal, and this is extortion. Furthermore, by them sending you false stuff in the mail, I many times send that back with my debt validation letter and make a copy and put fraud across it, and let them know, hey, I'm going to notify the postal inspectors, because if I don't owe you, you're using the postal system as form of mail fraud to extort me out of money, and you don't have a legal right to collect on the debt. So many times I'll just put fraud along with my debt validation letter. Make a copy of that letter, fraud, mail fraud, because I don't owe you. So you need to know what your rights is. You have a right under the Fair Collection Debt Practices Act to validate that debt. Nobody can just terrorize you and tell you to demand you to pay money to them, and they don't have legal proof that you owe them a debt. So what I do is sue them for defamation of character and my own state laws. They're under my own state laws. If they're doing business in your state, they're subject to your state laws. And there's many states that defamation of character is a criminal offense. And I always make sure I name board members. I'm going to shot everybody, as Little John said. I am getting the CEO, I'm getting the treasurer, and I even getting me a customer service person name. Go straight to the Better Business Bureau, pull that information up, and I'm going to sue the company. And the reason why you sue board members is giving you leverage. So if they're saying I owe them $500, hey, you owe me $800. Guess what? An attorney is going to charge them more for the $800 for them to represent a corporation. And being that a corporation is not a person, it has to be represented by an attorney. Then they got to fly out to my local state, all those employees, to show up to court, and they bought that stuff for pennies on the dollar. So all I simply do, y'all want to settle this debt, pay me my legal fees, and remove this within 30 days off my credit report. So beware. That's the secret that these companies don't want you to know. So make sure you always send a debt validation letter. If you want free hard inquiry removal letters, I got them at my website for absolutely free, and you can download that. So hopefully this is helpful. If you have questions, submit it to my website. If you have personal questions, if it's a general question, you can leave it in the comment section of this video. So be blessed, you guys.